knows I overthink everything, and yes, I always thought this too. But the question, why do I go to church? I'm like all of you, I go here. The main reason I come here every Sunday is to worship. I have so much, and this is where I come and thank the Lord and appreciate what He does. I come here to learn. I come here, I call it now to keep a tight line with Jesus Christ. I fished with a guy, and he taught me this. When you have a big fish on line, and your line's tight, he says, keep it tight. If you give it slack, chances are that fish is going to spit that hook out. I've had it happen. And that's the same way with me, with Jesus Christ. If you have a tight line with Jesus, keep it going. Don't back off. Don't let the slack start, because the devil is paying as much attention to you as Jesus Christ is. And if you give slack to the devil, he moves in. We all know that. I remember the days when I didn't go to church. Maybe once in a while, my kids were little, Sunday morning, phone would ring. Marcia, it's your brother. I'm not going to answer the phone. You going to church? He meant well, and he did do well. But Jesus Christ knew he had to send a lot more people my way to turn me around. And these guys that came to me, I liked what I saw. They had something special. And even though I wasn't a Christian, I kept leaning that way. I finally turned it around, and I have told my brother-in-law many times, thank you. Thank you. To go from a person who was mad, the phone was ringing, to giving a guy a hug several years later, to me that's what it's about. But I have too. We learn here. I have learned so much from our pastors, especially Jay now, and you people, my church family. We learn from each other. I love coming here. We learn little things. Several years ago, Jim Brennan, one of many people who has helped me a lot, he told me one day, you shouldn't park close to the church. Why not? That's for visitors. Since then, I've been parking over by the pantry building. And some of you guys do too. I know Bob Hott does, and Bruce Niles. They park quite a ways away. Some days it's raining. By the time I get from my car to the door, you're wet. And what do you hear Roger say? Fine day. Roger, it's raining. This is the day the Lord's made. I love that. We have a jewel at the greeter at our back door. Jim Brennan also taught me too. Work the crowd. Work the crowd. And not just in church. Not just at ball games, everywhere, including church. He said it's extremely important. Handshakes, smiles, eye contact, humor. We all knew Jim Brennan, the Christian that he was, and how he could use humor to get to you. Whatever it takes to show how friendly we are. If you do bring a visitor to this church, and you're going to be with them in here, what do you want? You want all your church family to shake his hand. Do we do that? And names, using each other. People love to hear their names. It's vital. And it does. It means so much to our visitors. It means a lot to our church family. Why do I come to church? I come early. I'm usually here. I'm not bragging. I'm retired and I don't have any kids to get dressed. I'm usually here at 10 after 8. I get to meet Roger's coffee. And Bob Coy and Beth. He comes early to be the greeter. Roger drives all the way to Sheffield. Picks up Bob. Every Sunday, I can surely handle making his coffee. And if you ever take that job from me, remember Roger wants the high-test coffee. Don't make him the other. I understand that. Why do I come to church? I come to teach Sunday school. A job a long time ago I never, ever thought it would happen. Sunday school superintendent asked me one time to teach. I said, honey, I can't say those big words, and I can't find stuff in the Bible. And I felt bad. I went back to her and said, 2 weeks. I'll do it 2 weeks. I'll give you time to find somebody. That was 30 plus years ago. I don't know if Ruth is still looking for someone to replace me. Please don't. I love what I do. I love coming to now. I'm at that point where I love to ask people to come. You know, Scott, you and I talk about this quite often in class. How do we ask people? I have fun. Okay? I'm a little crazy, but I have fun. I have said many times to people I've asked at church, are you a good singer? And most everybody says no. And I always say, I'm not either. Sit with me, you know. Or I've told them, please come to church. I'm singing in church next Sunday. You're singing in church? Well, not up front. On the balcony, you know. But I do. I have fun with it. I sit in the balcony, usually, because I ask someone to come to church. I'll come. If you sit upstairs, bingo. That's not a problem. And he did, for about a year. And then he left. And there's something about where we sit, we go to the same spot every Sunday. And I love my balcony people. And for 2 years, I sat on the balcony to watch Wade. Little Wade, hopefully everybody still remembers Wade. He thought it was a playground. And I somehow managed up there, with the help of Lou and Darlene, they would be down here, and they too kept a pretty good eye on Wade. Kids, are you paying attention to the kids in our church? Little Wade got a nice little gift for me and Lou this year, and Kathy and Darlene, they were gone for Christmas. I don't know what we taught him, but I know that God has touched him, and I know he loved us, you know. So important. Then we talked a lot about we planted the seed. Oh, I asked so-and-so to come to church. They said no, but we planted the seed. Planted the seed. I used to tell my mom when she was alive, I get tired of planting the seeds. And she would encourage me to just keep it up. Sometimes that's all you can do. I have a garden at home. And I learned, like all you guys know, fertilize it. My goal is to have a better garden than Gary Phillips. I can't do it. Maybe this year, because I'm using pony poop now. Pony poop grower. But I fertilize the garden. I want to watch those seeds grow. And I put it into perspective. If you have someone come to church, you're planting a seed. If you got that seed planted and they're still standing in front of you, fertilize them. Give them the whole load. And what's the fertilizer? Tell them about Pastor Jay. Tell them he plays the drums. Your pastor plays the drums. Tell them about the praise team. Tell them the ministries we have here. The food pantry, the dinners we have. Our dinners are fun. I love coming just to see who can eat the most. Either Munson or David. It's a close call. But we have fun. I try to share with people, someday, your family's going to have a funeral. If you're a member of the church, if you go here, we all know what this church can do for a family that needs a funeral. And how we appreciate it, how much we need it. Ask the Carlsons. Ask the Fullers. Ask the Bricks. Ask the Swansons. You know, there's nothing nicer to have a church family to take care of a lot of that stuff. But you're out there, you know, we're dealing with people. But so many people think that the church just wants your money and your time. I remember when I used to think that. I don't have money and I don't have time. I'm only going to go when I can. So many believe in God. And they don't think they need to go. I got this. I see Jesus. I deal with Jesus in the woods. I work in the woods. Or I'm on the riverbank. That's where I see Jesus. No. You're keeping him in a box. We all know better than that. Many have told me the roof would cave in. Jim, if I walked in the roof, it's going to cave in. I invited one friend 4 years back. He sat about halfway back. And when I walked in the back, I saw him. He stood up. The church hadn't started yet. And both his hands were in the air. He wasn't praising God. He looked at me and said, I thought the roof was going to come down. I don't think this gentleman has been in church since many years. Why? I've told them all, if the roof didn't fall in when I walked in, it's not going to fall in when you walk in. Many have told me, I'll be there. I had a lady by the name of Cindy, a month or two ago, maybe now. She brought it up. So I filled in the blanks. I know a good church. I'm going to be there. She didn't come. I don't mind standing up front with Roger anyway. But when you think someone's going to be there, you're anxious. God happened to put that lady in front of me 2 weeks later again. I said, you're Cindy. I am. You said, oh, I know what I said. I'll be there this Sunday. I think that was 3 Sundays ago. I think, and people can convince me that they're serious. I'm coming. I think they are serious. I think they want to come. But the next day, they can't pay the electric bill or whatever is going on at your house, and they move God back. Keep moving him back. We had a friend over at the pantry by the name of Lee. Nice gentleman. Talked him along. And we worked on him. We planted the seed. With the help of your pastor, we had fun with this guy. He too, this is another Sunday that he said he would be here. And he hasn't shown up. If you paid attention, I think last week in the sermon, in the book of Mark, Jesus tells us to tell people about him. We're disciples. I used to not like that word. I'm a disciple. Yeah. And if they don't listen, Jesus said, just go shake the dust off your feet. I needed to hear that. I said earlier, I learned here. That passage reminded me what Jesus wants you to do, shake the dust off your feet. I have shaken a lot of dust off my feet, and it hasn't slowed me down one bit. Yes, I have a Kurt Warner jersey on today. Everybody knows I'm a Bills fan. Everybody knows that this isn't Super Bowl Sunday. I wore this jersey because Kurt Warner was one of my favorite Christians that played sports, and still is. He's now a broadcaster. If you watch football at all, you'll occasionally see him. Kurt Warner wrote a book, his life story, and I read it. I encourage you all to read his life and what he went through. In that book, he taught me something, which I try to teach everybody. If you're at a restaurant, one little thing that's kind of neat, know your waitress. They're waiting on you. Know their name. They'd love to hear their name, you know. And I love doing that, and you're opening up the door to maybe ask them to come to church. Where do you go to church? Well, Kurt Warner, the reason I hung on to him when I tell his story, every year since 2000, 23 years, if you're in my class, you're going to hear it again this year. Kurt Warner played for the Cardinals, quarterback. He led the team to the Super Bowl. won. He was elected the VP, most valuable player. Powerful. The game was over, the gunshots sounded, the confetti is everywhere. And you've seen that on TV. It's a total chaos. There was a little reporter with a microphone, saw Kurt coming. That reporter was in the perfect position to get to Kurt Warner. I remember it well. He knew that Kurt Warner was a Christian, and he didn't want to deal with that topic right now. He was the most valuable player. He ran up to Kurt, and he stuck that microphone in Kurt's face. He said, Kurt, yelling because of the noise. Kurt, tell us about the Super Bowl. Kurt took the microphone from the guy's hand, and he said, first things first.